Hey, do you want to build a stronger family, create a better life? Well, that's what Divorce with Heart is all about. It's a show where I guide you along your divorce and co-parenting journey using the heart's wisdom, intuition, and legal expertise. So sit back, take a deep breath, relax. My name is Gina DiPrima. Let's get started. Hey, how's everybody doing? We're back and it is episode number 40 and I'm Gina DiPrima, your host on this Divorce with Heart and Conscious Co-Parenting, where it is always my top priority, my number one goal to inspire you and just encourage you and help you, have some shifts in your thinking, some shifts in your awareness so that you can be sure, so that you can be supported and you can be confident and sure that even though you might be going through a divorce and, even though you might be going through a terrible breakup, that, there's life on the other side of this and there's still family on the other side of this. And that, even though it might feel like in this moment in your life that things are just so difficult, so stressful, so overwhelming that, you really do have everything in front of you, all the tools available to you, everything that you could ever think of to support you and help you to change that. And that's what this is about. I'm trying to create some shifts here for you and anybody out there that's really struggling with these ideas and what I call, like that old paradigm of divorce, that old paradigm where it's winner take all. The family is destroyed, relationships, get damaged even beyond repair, children get alienated against parents, the list is endless, right? So that's always the goal here on Divorce with Heart and Conscious Co-Parenting. And I thank you so much for joining me and being a part of this mission and listening and, just taking it in, right? Just taking it in. And, it's pretty cool. I just realized this and I wish I would have realized it a little sooner in advance because I would have planned something, but I'll play catch up. I think it's been about 1 year now that we've been doing this podcast with Inflow Radio. So I am so proud of that. I just think it's so cool. I wasn't sure when I started if I'd still be here or, what it would look like, but I am. And I thank you so much for listening to me and for supporting me and giving reviews in iTunes and all that you do, and most importantly, I want to thank you for doing what you can, to just try to really implement and integrate the messages that I'm sharing with you and the information that I'm sharing with you so that, you can feel better and you can just put those pieces back together again for your family, for your children, and, for the rest of your life so you can overcome, right? So, okay, what are we going to talk about today? What we're going to talk about today is it's this common frustration. It's this common frustration that I hear a lot. It comes my way in the legal field and comes my way through the Divorce with Heart group. And it's this frustration that I know many of you have when you feel like you are wanting to do everything you can, everything in your power to protect your kids, to make sure that they're going to be okay, to make sure that they're going to be stable and, healthy, well-adjusted, and have a great life, right? You don't want to cause them any harm. And it's this energy that goes along with it sometimes where you might feel like no matter what you do, no matter what you say, you might feel like you're just spinning your wheels or just, banging your head against the wall. Like it's just, almost sometimes it might feel like a fruitless effort, and you might even wonder, why am I even doing this? Is this worth it? Should I go back? I mean, I know all of these thoughts that race through your head and in all of the the worry and the anxiety that comes with it. All of those things where you're like, am I doing the right thing? Right. And then of course that spirals down somewhere else, doesn't it? So I get it. And I know what you're going through. And what we're going to talk about today is something that I really believe is at the heart of people's progress or their lack of progress, depending on how you look at it. The number one thing that is kind of like in the way, right, of people being able to really create a healthier family on the other side and to really know with full confidence that they are truly doing everything they can to help, love, and support their children. And what that is, what we're going to be talking about is this idea of a commitment and how a commitment is very, very different than a goal. Okay, so let's just start there. I'm just going to say it. What I find a lot, and this isn't for everybody, okay, but a lot of the time I find that people start off with this great intention, with these great desires of what they want and how they want their life to look and how they want their family dynamic to look in the future and how they want it to feel, right? And I'm going to tell you that everybody, I've never had a client not tell me this. So when I say everybody, I'm going to go right out on a limb here and I'm going to tell you that I really do believe that this is a universal desire and a universal intention because it can't possibly just be my experience. But everybody that comes to me for help navigating, the separation process, the divorce process, the co-parenting challenges that happen, initially and then even years later, everybody always says some of the same exact things, different variations of it, but the same thing. The same thing being, I want to do what's best for my kids. I want to be amicable. I want to be reasonable, right? I want to be fair, all that. That's what people say. Everybody says it. And then, what happens? This is what really got me thinking about this topic a lot is that, I go into court then and I start talking with the other attorneys who represent, the other side of the litigation, your partner or ex-partner or wherever you're at in the stage. I go in and I find out and I learn from the other attorneys that guess what? Their clients feel the exact same way. They want to be amicable. They want to be fair. They want to be reasonable. And number one, they want to do what's best for their kids. So, think about it. Think about it like if you're even the judge and from the judge's perspective. They're sitting there, right? And you've got a mother, a father, a husband, a wife, and they both seem to want the same exact thing. But yet that's not at all what you would guess from, some of their behavior, right? Some of their actions, some of their words. So it's like you have this underlying backdrop of a universal common intention to, not just, this is become such a kind of a cliche type of saying, but not just survive, right, after divorce, but to like thrive after divorce. It seems, or after maybe you're never married, but like through the co-parenting challenges as well, right? So it seems like, how is it possible then that people can come into this situation on both sides of the fence, okay, and have the same desire, have the same vision of the future, sit there and say things like, I want to be able to, go to my daughter's wedding and be able to sit there at the table with my ex-husband and have dinner and not have it be awkward for my kids. I want to be able to go to my son's graduation and be there with my ex-husband there or with his father there and not have it be this stressful, anxiety-provoking thing for my son, right? I want to be able to I'm trying to think of another example of something that I hear a lot. But, I just want to be able to have a conversation, right? Just have a conversation that's not this all out kind of verbal battle where you feel like you're just bashing your head against the wall. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Everything seems difficult. Everything is stressful. Everything's a power struggle. Minor issues are big issues, right? I mean, you know what I'm talking about. So it's like, again, how the heck does this happen? How does it happen that I can have a spouse or a parent tell me something, and then the other person is saying the exact same thing, but that's not at all what either party is experiencing, right? And then never mind what the kids are experiencing, right? And then how they're put in the middle, because that's a whole other aspect of this. So this is what got me thinking, why is this? What's going on? What is it? And this is where I have come now to the conclusion, to what I believe is one of the number one things that is holding people back from actually being able to experience all of those things, experience things being easy again, setting themselves up for that kind of success, the success that they want, to have the dinners, to go to the sporting events, to go places and let it be easy, to let it be free, so they can set themselves up where their kids are going to know that everything's cool, right? Everything's cool. We're okay. We can do holidays. It's fine. I can even go from one house to the next. It's fine. Not have to feel guilt, not have to feel worry, not have to feel the drama. Oh, see, look, I just started going off on that tangent of what the hardships of what kids feel when parents don't do this. So the thing of it is, what I believe is it's a lack of commitment. I'm just going to say it. It's a lack of commitment. Okay? And what I mean by this is that when I hear people say this to me, whether it's my client, whether it's coming from the other side, or, maybe I'm representing the child and I'm hearing both parents because, they want to give me their side of the story and what they want in life. And they tell me the exact same things, right? I believe that one of the number one barriers is this idea that there is a lack of commitment, that what people have all too often, okay, is not a commitment to doing what's best for their kids, but rather this kind of goal, right? They're in this goal-seeking state. They have this desire. They have this thought of what they want, but they don't have the commitment. And those things are two, in my view, very, very, very different things. The energy of a goal, of an intention, of a desire is very, 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 very different than the energy of a commitment. Okay? I mean, just think about it for a minute. How many times have you made a goal to, eat healthier? How many times have you said to yourself, I'm going to definitely get my eight glasses of water in today? How many times have you said, I'm going to go to the gym? Right? And then how many times have you broken these promises to yourself? Right? How many times have you made these promises, set these goals, said you were going to maybe, practice for something, call somebody, get healthier, whatever it is. I mean, we all have our stories. Trust me, I've got a million of them. I am just as guilty here. Okay? But how many times do we set ourselves up and we outline these goals and these things that we want in life, only to, fall short? We don't get them. And you want to know why we don't get them? It's because we're not committed. And that's the difference in the energy. Because when what you have is a goal, okay, and not a commitment, you give yourself, I think, these opportunities, these back doors, these ways out. And the excuses, I'm just going to call them excuses. I'm calling it out. They're going to feel 100% real in the moment, right? They're going to feel 100% legit. Like, oh, I can't go to the gym today because, I'm exhausted. I didn't sleep last night. I can't get up early. I didn't sleep last night. I mean, those are some of my excuses, I'm too stressed out. I mean, I'm real good at that too. Okay. And that's really my point. When what you have is a goal, it seems like it's this thing that's kind of out there. This thing that you're just kind of, striving for. This thing that, just add it to the list. Almost on this subconscious level. Maybe you even know. I don't know. Maybe we even know. Yeah, it's a goal. But if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. Right? And that's where we start to make excuses. Right? That's where we start to maybe point fingers. It's not my fault. I'm trying to do what's best for my kids. I sent a nice, I'm being respectful. I sent a nice, cordial, respectful message. I'm not, criticizing and insulting. I'm being businesslike. It's him. It's all him. Well, guess what? These kinds of things are your back doors. These are your ways out. And once you start opening up these doors and giving yourself excuses and feeling 100% justified and like legit and I kind of like righteous about it, like, yeah, I'm right, then there goes the goal. It's just done. It's just gone. And that's when you start doing things and saying things that I bet 9 out of 10 times at some point in your life, you remember it and you look back on it, whether it's in the immediate sense or far down the line, but you probably have regret. I really believe that because I know firsthand the kind of things that people do when they're stuck in heartache, when they're stuck in these co-parenting challenges and these difficulties. I know that the way that they act. I know the language that they use and how they act in front of their children. And I really believe, because I know that the overall intention there is to do what's best and to move on and raise healthy kids, that there has to be some regret. There has to be some regret for words said, actions taken, misdeeds, poor judgment, irrational decisions. And the thing of it is all that stuff starts to come in. It starts to come in through the back door. It starts to pile up on you, right? And that's it. And you never get to reach that quote unquote goal. And, it's, again, in my mind, it's a lack of commitment, okay? And one real easy way to tell if you're stuck in this sort of goal-seeking kind of energy state where it's kind of this loose, lofty kind of idea is to look at how many butts you have. What I mean is look at how many butts you have when you're having that conversation with your lawyer or your friend or your whoever it is, whoever you're talking to and confiding in. And every time that you're saying what it is you want, right? And how hard you're working to get it and create it and all of the wonderful things that you're doing, pay attention to how many times you're getting into this, yeah, but. Because it's those buts that are your back doors. And it's those buts that will show you you're not in commitment. And commitment is super different than having a goal, right? Think about it like this. Think about it another way, okay? I kind of just talked about the whole idea of we all have goals and what happens when we're not committed. Well, think about it like this. You take an athlete at the top of their game, right? An Olympic athlete, an NFL player, someone in the, you know what I'm saying, the NHL, and just somebody at the top of their game. How do you think that they got there? Do you think that they just thought, oh yeah, I have a goal. I'm going to be an Olympic swimmer or I'm going to be a gymnast and yeah, that's my goal. Or do you think that it was a different kind of energy that got them there? A different kind of energy, a stronger kind of energy. I mean, just think about it. Think about it for a minute, right? It has to be something different because if you think about how much work, how much sacrifice goes into becoming an Olympian, becoming somebody, a professional football player, they don't have back doors for themselves. They just don't. They know what they want to do and they do it. They have to. Do you think that, a cold is going to keep them out of the gym? I wouldn't think so, right? I mean, I'm sure that you've heard stories. I'm sure you can identify with this. I know that I've heard it. The player who's out there and he's playing, he's out there on the field anyways, and he's playing and he's throwing the ball. I mean, I'm thinking right now, maybe that was even Brett Favre who did that before. I don't know. My memory is fading. I was told recently that I have an aging brain. That's another side story too. But anyways, my point is this, right? How many times have you heard about the player out there playing with an injury, right? Still playing with an injury. Playing, and this one I think I know was Brett Favre in one of those games. Maybe it was the Super Bowl. I don't even know. But, I think it was like his dad even died. And he's still out there and he's doing it and he's doing his craft. Why? Because he's committed. He's committed to who he is and being at the top of his game. And how does this relate to you? Well, it relates to you because what I'm suggesting is that if you get behind this energy of commitment instead of this energy or this idea of, I want to do this. I want what's best for my kids. I want to be amicable. I want to be reasonable. And instead, you get behind this stronger energy of, I am, right? And I am doing what's best for my kids. I am amicable. I am reasonable. Then the world can change for you. Things can change for you. Because what happens is you start to close those back doors, right? You shut them down because you become so committed to doing and being and having all those things that you want, that vision of that future that you want, whether, like I said, it's going to the wedding or at the graduation or at the sporting event, whatever it is, when the grandkids are born, okay, when you're at the hospital, because trust me, if you don't heal and start doing it early on, these wounds, they last. They're generational, okay? So what was I saying? It's when you're committed like that, you close out those back doors. You become what one of my mentors says, or the way she described it to me was you just then have this unwavering, unshakable stance and nothing's going to, throw you off. And so then it's not good enough for you anymore to point the finger at the other person and what they're doing and what they did and how they treated you and what they said. And, the list is endless, right? Because you know what you're committed to. You know who you are committed to being, and you know what you are creating. And you know what else happens when you take this kind of a stance and you shift your energy around into something that is stronger and more solid and more this driving force that you don't allow yourself to escape from? Guess what else happens? You don't have this doubt anymore. This worry and the doubt about, did I do the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? Am I just a doormat? That, excuse me, that sometimes comes up. People feel like maybe they're sacrificing too much and they're just becoming a doormat and that kind of thing. No, because when you are 100% committed, you're all in. You're all in, you know what's important to you, and you do it. The excuses, the back doors, the finger pointing, all that falls away, right? And when you do that, that's when you know that you can protect your kids, okay? And when you do that, that's when you can be confident in the decisions that you're making, and you won't make decisions anymore from this place of, having to win, or from this place of past pain, and what I'm thinking of here is an example that's come up recently. I'll just throw it out there to you, is that, I know a mother right now who would swear to you up and down that she wants nothing more than the very, very best for her children. She loves her children more than anything in the world, right? Well, then let me tell you the scenario. And, you can have your own opinion on whether or not something like this makes sense. But if you want nothing more than what's very best for your kids, then why on earth would you do something like wake them up at 6 a.m. so they can be shipped off to a before school program and then shipped off from there on a bus to their school program. And then, the reverse after school, right? When these are just, young children, right? All because you don't want to afford the other parent an opportunity to step in and help out and be supportive and have time with his children, right? And I know I'm not talking about a parent who, for whatever reasons, maybe they're not fit. I'm talking about another parent who's absolutely fit, 100% able, available, making the offer. Let's make this work. Let's make it easy. There's no reason for our kids to be getting up at 6 a.m. and carted all over the place and, bus to school and all of this nonsense. Let me help you out, right? Now, again, same people who say, I want what's best for my children, no matter what. I love them. They're my world. Doesn't it make sense then to just allow the other parent to have time and assist? Of course it does. But that's not what happens. What happens is there's this, these memories, these thoughts, these beliefs, these fears that kick in, and then people start acting in ways that are no longer conducive to generating a good, nice, peaceful, happy, healthy future for their children or for themselves, right? Another example, I want what's best for my kids. Do you? Do you? I get this a lot. People say that. And what are they doing behind closed doors? They're letting their children read court papers, right? They're telling their kids, Daddy's taking me back to court. He wants to take you from me. Stuff like that. I mean, come on. Think about what you're going through and how these kinds of things play out in your life and in your situation. Because again, if your actions are not jiving with what you say and you hold so dear to your heart, which is the stability of your children and of yourself and a peaceful future, right? If that's not jiving, you're not going to get it. And you're probably making a lot of excuses and you probably have a ton of yeah buts as to why it's not happening. But the one main point that I want you to understand and really take away from this is that if you can step into this energy like an Olympic athlete does or a professional athlete and you go after what you want and you do it without any excuses, you just do it no matter what's thrown your way. That is what you need to get you to the other side. That is what you need to create a healthier family, to have peace on the other side of this, to be able to have that dinner, and drama-free interactions and communications. That's what you need, okay? And I just want to, wrap it up with one more point here that, oops, you probably heard that. I'm sorry. It's probably loud. One more point. I was going to say, it's not enough to just say and think about it like I want to be committed to, whatever your best future looks like. Okay. There's a second piece to this commitment. You need, and I cannot stress this enough because I'm such a believer in the importance here. You really, really, really need to be committed, not just to your kids, but to yourself. You need to be committed to yourself. You need to commit to healing yourself and acknowledging and saying, knowing that you're hurt. It's okay that you're hurt. It's okay that you're angry. It's okay that you're frustrated and stressed and overwhelmed and all of these things. It's okay. Give yourself the space to feel this, all right? Acknowledge it, feel it, and do something about it. Because just thinking that, I'll be fine in time, I'll just get over it, which is what, some people are told and some people believe, it's not enough. It's not enough. Because if you don't take the time to commit to yourself and heal kind of the leftovers of the shitstorm that happened, okay? If you don't do it, you're never going to feel better. You're going to hold on to that negativity. You're going to hold on to those negative emotions. You're going to be triggered every time you see the other person, every time you think of the other person. You will not have peace. And that's when relationships are destroyed. That's when you have the breakdown okay, in family relationships. That's when you have kids who turn their backs on a parent, right? So, and you don't want that. You don't want that. I know you don't. You want the reverse. You want the situation, or maybe you don't, but I'm going to give you an ideal example that I heard of recently. An ideal example is a woman who was long-term marriage, very, very hurt, very upset, had children. They got the divorce. Now, this happened many, many years ago. Okay. Her ex-husband, he moves on. He gets remarried. Well, guess what? She did the work to heal herself. She did the work to find forgiveness, and not just with him, but with herself. All right. She did what she needed to do. And you know what that did for her? You know what that did for the family now? And you fast forward years later down the line, her ex-husband passes away. His new wife, okay, has no idea how to do anything, no idea how to pay a bill, manage the household, nothing, because she didn't have to do that. And that's a lifestyle some people have. They're fortunate to have that, or unfortunate, I guess, depending on how you look at it. But she didn't know how. So do you want to know who steps in and stepped in right now to help her? To support her, to be there while she's grieving and get her on track and teach her how to pay her bills and what to do and how to move on? Her late husband's ex-wife and his daughter. Okay? Guess what? These things can't happen unless you take the time and get committed to one, really doing and being and adopting that energy that it's going to require to get you to that other side and make sure you are the role model that is best for your kids, right? And how you act, how you show up, how you speak, right? And it doesn't happen unless you commit to healing yourself. So there you have it. I'm going to leave you with that. I know I said a lot. I probably said a lot really, really fast, but I really hope that this moves you. I hope that this shifts your thinking. I hope you can take a few moments to think about, what's going on in your life and take note of whether maybe there's some inconsistencies, where there's some excuses, where you have the yeah buts, and refocus, get on board, because your time is now, and your minutes are slipping away. Kids, they don't get younger. Time goes by fast, okay? And you want to do what's best. You want to do what's best for yourself. Start now. And do the healing work. Just do it. Get a coach, get a counselor, get somebody that can support you and help move you toward what you are now hopefully going to be 100% committed to achieving, okay? So again, I thank you so much for listening. I really hope that this resonated with you. If it did move you, please leave me a comment in iTunes. Please leave that review. Let me know how this lands for you. I love to read them. I read every single one of them, and not for nothing, but your reviews are what help this show grow. They help people to find it. And, that's how we're going to heal. That's how we're all going to heal collectively. Okay. So please do that. And if you're struggling, I'm here. I'm here for you. I would love to support you on this journey. I'd love to hold you accountable to what you are now hopefully going to be committed, and not just in this goal-seeking state of achieving, right? But committed to peace, committed to strengthening your family, committed to healing your family. So if you're ready for it, give me a call. Let's talk. It's super easy. It's a free call. All you have to do is go to www.doorwaytoheal.com. Thanks. Have a great week. Thank you so much for joining me today. Come back next week and be sure to visit my website at dpremalaw.com to book a call, or let's connect on Facebook at dpremalaw, where you can join my group for more support. Please remember that the information shared is for general and entertainment purposes only, and that by calling in or messaging me, we are not creating an attorney-client relationship, and my advice is not intended to be legal advice. For specific legal advice, please contact a lawyer in your jurisdiction.
This show is brought to you by InflowRadio.com, the best curated talk radio network for personal development, wellness, spirituality, and conscious business.